Hello everyone, glad to be back. Today for a change I will make this update. This next episode of Informal Talks on my balcony. It's quite warm weather. It was sunny a little bit earlier, but still okay. So for a change, why not? And in this program, I will answer to some of your questions about housing in Russia, about homelessness problem, about state support to the citizens that are in difficult situation. I will share my knowledge about it. Also, I will summarize previous week how it went for a project, what we managed to achieve or didn't manage to achieve, and yes, some other topics about possible future developments on the channel. I hope you will find it interesting. So let's uh, let's begin. I will make this phone Moscow city because for next weekend I will I do plan to go to Moscow city to make some video footage from there and share video on Patreon. That will be just for Patreon subscribers. We did not manage for this weekend to go, but for next weekend probably we will manage to do so. So that's a kind of presentation of next episode. Of course, high scrapers no not gonna surprise anyone, but in some of those high scrapers, as I know, I never been there, but as I know, there's some great views from some of them, and we will try to make footage from observation decks. And if it's nice weather, then entire Moscow, not entire Moscow, but best part of it can be seen. So probably it will be interesting. When it comes to some past week, we almost reach 8,000 subscribers, which is great. Maybe tomorrow or day after we will reach 8,000 subscribers. So our community is growing little by little. I did make some experiments with programming, and it seems like probably you notice it, and it seems like this second attempt when I'm making short video in the morning time in the first half of the day and the second one in the afternoon, it seems like this may work. This may work because at least first video is quite short, and as I understand from comments, many of you do like it this way. Second one, because second one is about news in general. First one is about Ukraine mainly, and second one about news in general that are making headlines in Russian media for that exact moment. Because of that, it's longer version, but still, I think this approach will work. Next week, after next week, we will, I can have some better understanding of it. What else? When it comes to project, yes, I did share in my previous episode of Informal Talks idea that, if I remember correctly, I did talk about it in previous episodes about idea that to make some live streams. I'm gonna test this notebook if it will be good enough to do live stream, and if it's okay, if notebook will be able to take such a heavy load, then because for live stream I had to run simultaneously quite a few heavy programs, as I understand, and not all notebooks will be able to manage to deal with this load. But let's see, that's probably gonna be a good idea if at least once a week I will make some updates on live stream. And this way I can have even though in comment sections I'm quite active, but still when it's live stream you are communicating in real time, so that's a better way. And one day I will definitely I do want to make live streams also. So that's when it comes to some details about channel. When it comes to housing, I should say that here in the metro, for example, if you want to buy, let's say, two bedroom flat, it will cost you about 8-10 million rubles, which is 120,000-130,000 dollars. And Dmitrov is quite close to Moscow. It's only 1.5 hours on a train or bus, so it's not that far away. But closer you are to Moscow, prices are of course becoming more and more high. And when it comes to Moscow itself, it's just too expensive, really. In central parts, let's say two-bedroom flat will probably cost you at least 20-25 million rubles, and you may not even find this kind of option. It's probably much more than that. In some outskirts, on outskirts of Moscow, 2-3 bedroom flat you will be able to buy for 15-20 million rubles. And if you exchange this in dollars, this is probably about 250,000, 250,000, which is of course very expensive. And for young generation to buy a house, it's quite a deal. But yet again, mortgage is working, mortgage system, and mainly all the houses that are sold, they are sold by mortgage. And one day, I hope we will be able to also take mortgage, because we don't really have now anything. So I hope I will leave to my kids at least house when I finish with this life. So that's why now I'm a 45. So I hope I have at least 20 years of active work when I can be active working. And for these 20 years, if I manage to take mortgage and to pay entirely, that will be great for me. So I will have some peace of mind if I know that at least I'm leaving to my kids 2-3 bedroom house. So all the parents probably will understand what am I talking about. So when it comes to rent is also quite you cannot compare it probably with New York. New York probably are much more expensive. I don't know prices there, but here, for example, we are paying about $500 a month for rent. Yet again, closer you go to Moscow, renting prices are more and more high. And similar flat that we have to rent, similar flat in Moscow, probably it will cost double of what we pay now. So probably it will cost about 60-70,000 rubles, which is approximately $1,000. Even the exchange rate is now changing all the time, and for today $1 is 82 rubles. So When it comes to homelessness, you know, when I see some videos from Los Angeles, for example, and San Francisco, from California in general, of course, you're not gonna see that kind of stuff in Russia. I don't think you will be able to see that kind of stuff in any city of Russia. But homeless people, of course, there are some homeless people, but you're not gonna see them quite often on the streets because social services are trying to take people from the streets, and they are uh, общежитие. How you say it, общежитие? There are some social, not the social housing, but social projects, and they can be homeless people can be facilitated. They can be given a place in those общежития, in this social complex. But yet again, there is no such what you compare to. Of course, homeless people are everywhere, but in Russia, state do tries to help them. Maybe not as much as state should do, but at least they are trying to do something. When in US, probably state does, I don't know, nothing or close to nothing. So it's a big difference. It's a big difference, even though, of course, homelessness is a problem for all the countries. When people are in deep trouble, and if they are unable to work and pay for rent, eventually they are on the streets. And it's a maybe homelessness is not a big issue, not the biggest, let's say, issue. It's, of course, it's an issue, like in every other country, but maybe this is not a catastrophic issue because of culture here, because it's how it works here. Usually, kids are supporting their parents. When let's say when me and my wife, when we will be too old, we will definitely try to stay independent as much as we can, of course. But at some point, we may need some additional support, and in our culture, kids will be always next to us. So we're not gonna end up in some like in US. There are some special places where old people are put. They may have some great conditions there to live, but still, it's always better when your family members are next to you. So that's how it works generally in this part of the world, in Russia. So kids are supporting parents when they need this support, and probably this cultural moment do play some part in and in general here. I mean, we do support each other. Relatives do support each other, and maybe this has something to do with the uh, low level of homelessness, and maybe that's why you're not gonna see homeless people on every 100 or 200 meters, like you can see it in some US cities, in New York, for example. Because some reports, some videos that I see on YouTube, it's hard to tell that all of them are fake, isn't it? So in New York, Los Angeles, San Francisco, these cities, I mean, you may see some footages that are just hard to watch, man. So many people are left on the streets, and it's too bad. So in that sense, you absolutely cannot compare situation with between Russia and the US. In Europe, I believe because European states are do have some institutions, social institutions, and the states are trying to support citizens. Probably in Europe, you're not going to see also uh, such a level of homelessness like in US. But that's because, yet again, its institutions have been built in the governmental system of running the country, and those institutions do work. Maybe not ideally, but they do work. So that's why probably not gonna see too many homeless people in Germany, for example. Even though I'm never been there in Germany, but I guess that's the case because it's quite a lot of social institutions that are being financed by government. So that's when it comes to housing, and I mean for how homelessness or housing stuff. For example, if someone wants to emigrate, let's say from US, I believe if they sell the properties in US, I'm quite sure they will be able to buy. They will be able to buy here property, not just in Moscow, but just anywhere you like. They will have probably enough money for that, and there are some even YouTubers now, immigrants that did emigrate from Australia, for example, or from UK or US, and many of them, they don't choosing big cities. They are choosing some countryside because they love to work on the ground, and they are building their own houses, and trying to build some businesses. And once they will deal with all the paperwork, they can receive huge parts of land, and because they had such experience of working on the land in their countries, they are very successful in Russia also. They're bringing with them some new ideas, new technologies, and they are quite successful. And as I said many times in updates, I believe because in Russia all those traditional values do have meaning. Russia may become quite a popular destination for immigrants from so-called Western world, because many of them probably don't like what is happening in the West, especially when it comes to this crazy propaganda of neoliberals. So yes, what else? What else? Tomorrow or maybe day after tomorrow, we will reach probably 8,000 subscribers, which is great. Which is great. And if this new approach with the updates will work, maybe this will help. This will help to reach even wider audience, because, for example, yesterday's first update in the morning had a little bit more than 4,000 views. I don't know about today's update. Last time I see it was 1100 views. So maybe short videos. If I have at least one short video every day, maybe this will make it easier for subscribers to share links with their friends, because of course no one has 1 hour all the time to watch longer versions of update, but 15-20 minutes, yes, it's more convenient for many probably, and yes, this also may help to reach wider audience. And after all, to be honest, I don't want this project to become too big, like 15 to 25,000 subscribers. If we ever reach this, will probably be ideal, because in that way you are not bringing too much attention to you and your channel, because you're still small channel compared to big names, but same time you are sharing information with a big, absolutely big community. Because for me, 15 to 25,000 subscribers, it's just huge. So I am happy, and if subscribers are happy that they have this source of information, then it's absolutely great for me. Because why am I was working all the time in news agencies, for example, during my active career in journalism, because no one knows you. I was making probably more news on daily basis. I was publishing more information than any other journalist in news agencies, but no one knew my name. No one knew that I was Levan Gudadze. I was known in journalistic field in Georgia like by initials LG, and that was it. And so many times before very my eyes, this was happening when some other media outlets were calling to our media. Let's say when I was working, for example, in Interpress, it was so many times like Channel 9, for example, calling and asking when LG's news will be available, or some other media outlets may call and ask for news from LG. That was me. They did not even know who I was. And it was fine by me, because I never wanted to be known to public, because more known you are, more freedoms you are losing, in my opinion. And less people know you, then more free you are, because to be public figure, it's a huge responsibility, isn't it? And you have to be always on top level if you are public figure. That's my approach anyway. You should always be good example, and it's extra pressure that do I need really. I do try to be good citizen and good human being anyway, without this extra pressure. So I don't need some additional pressure on me, and that's why I think I don't want my channel to become too big, because it will bring too much attention to me, and I don't need that. But well, if we reach 15 to 25,000 subscribers, it will be just great. I can do what I like to do, and what I was doing in entire my life: work with news and share news with society. And if same time this project will allow me to provide my family, then it's a win-win situation. So I will be very much happy. We have a new subscriber today, so I want to thank new subscriber and welcome to our community. So yes, that's why Patreon is too important, because it does gives you this additional information about funds that you have. Because PayPal, it's good of course, but today you may have some donation, and next 3-5 days you may not, and you just basically don't know how to operate during the months. So yes, now it's 3:30 Moscow time. In a few hours I will probably make evening's update on YouTube. I already chose some news, and I will check media outlets. There may be something new that happening, and I will use those news also. And in 2 hours time, for let's say close to 6 o'clock in the afternoon, or 1800 hours, I will probably try to upload evening's update. And yes, thanks to you all, I'm able to work with news. I'm able to do what I truly like. Even it's even if after day, after a long day when you are constantly are reading some news and talking about news and commenting about news, you may get a little bit tired, of course, but uh, you know that's what I was doing since I don't know, since 17. So it's great. So thank you very much for your attention and support. And yes, this is it probably. What else should I talk next week? Me and my family, we will try to go to Moscow, in Moscow city, and make some footage from there. Maybe we will go also in Gorky Park. It's the biggest park in the Moscow, and we will try to make some footage there also. Its main point is to weather. What kind of weather will be for next Friday or Saturday? If it's too rainy, then I don't know. But if it's day like today, when sometimes it's sunny, sometimes it's clouds, it's okay. Today was a great day in that sense. So yes, this is it. This is it for now. Once again, thank you very much for your support, and see you soon. As I said, in 2 3 hours time, I will try to upload the second update for today. Have a nice day and take care.